Wilson. Do your thing, buddy. That's a safety. If that's a safety, we're done.
That's intentional grounding.
What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you on this Tuesday, 2 days removed from the whipping. I don't want to call it a whooping because that's kind of what it was, of the Titans over my Seattle Seahawks on my birthday, no other, that we had to witness and miserably watch disintegrate to the end of that game. Titans fans, I know you guys are happy out there, but us Seahawks fans, come on. Come on, what was that game? 33-30 in overtime. We're going to talk about it. I got a few things on my chest to get out there, and we're going to do it right here on this forum. And I invite you guys at the end of this, I'm going to say my piece, and then I'll probably take a few comments on Discord. And if you'd like to be part of that conversation, you can call in on the Discord line. All you got to do is click on the Discord channel. I have it in the chat, so you can click right there. It takes you just a second. But I'd love to hear your opinions after I get done saying mine. So we're just going to get started. You saw that little clip up there. That was my actual video of my reaction while watching the game. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. Not that you'd want to, unless you're a Titans fan and want to watch my miserable suffering on my birthday. But we're going to get into it here because I have a lot to say. Logan on the Super Chat. I got to acknowledge Logan. It says, Ken Norton, the defense is the only one to blame. When your offense puts up 30, the defense shouldn't need any more support. Interesting take. Chef Jack Attack says, what's up? What's up is everybody else in the NFC West, and we're in last place at 101. That's what's up. Alina Dahl, thank you. One of the best moderators in the planet. Always there for me. Thank you, Alina. You're the best. And before I jump into it, I do want to wish Ninja CRK, whose channel I have in the description, one of the members of NORBFAM. He and I share the same birthday. So Ninja CRK, thanks for your support of my channel. You're a cool guy just because you and I share the same birthday. So that's pretty awesome. But appreciate you always being there and supporting my channel. So thank you, Ninja CRK. You guys go check out his channel. All right. So I'm just going to get started on this thing. And even though I sounded very negative, I do want to start out with a few positives. Believe it or not, there were some good things that actually happened in this game, even though it's hard to remember them when it ends so badly. But let's look at the positives of this 33-30 loss. Tyler Lockett, 8 receptions for 178 yards, a touchdown, a long one of 63 yards. Tyler Lockett's on a tear. First 2 games, I mean, he's killing it right now. One of the best receivers in the NFL. So that all happened so early that we almost forgot that happened because we didn't really see much of him after that. So, but he did do that. So that was pretty awesome. Pressure on the cornerback. We had 3 sacks in the first game against the Colts. We had 3 sacks against the Titans. So that's a positive thing, including a sack fumble that led to one of our touchdowns. Alton Robinson, good job. Recovered by Kerry Hyder. Got to love that. Of course, when things were quiet, the one bright spot in our second half was Freddie Swain. He also trying to outdo Tyler Lockett. Tyler had this 63-yard touchdown. Well, Freddie Swain had a 68-yard touchdown. About the easiest catch you'll ever make, where there's nobody within a zip code of him. Wide open. I don't know what happened there, but blown coverage. And he gets waltzes in. When I saw that ball in the air, he was so wide open. My first thought was, dude, I hope you catch this ball because you're so open, it's almost frighteningly too easy. That would have been terrible too. It's almost like if you're that guy, you're like, oh God, please don't drop it. This is the game. So very cool. Freddie Swain, nice catch. Another bright spot, Alex Collins was not in the game very much, but when he was in that 2-minute drill at the end of the first half, boy, he busted up that 25-yard run. Almost matched Chris Carson's total output for the game in one run. So Chris Carson, not quite outdone, but definitely the bright spot in terms of long runs of the day goes to Alex Collins' 25-yard run. What else? Bobby Wagner. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it's something to be noted. 20 tackles, 16 solos. Now, that's actually kind of cool, but also kind of sucks, because if you're making that many tackles, you're on the field a lot, and you're having to do a lot of things on your own. So he was busy. I'm sure his body was beat to crap after that game. But that's pretty amazing. It's 20 tackles, 16 solo. And he had a tackle for a loss, and he had a sack, which is a pretty brilliant play that saved us from having the Titans from getting a touchdown and end up being a field goal. So there was that. What else? No turnovers, believe it or not. It is hard to believe that in this game, with such a lead and everything that went wrong, one thing that didn't go wrong is we never turned the ball over. That is really quite amazing. So we've won the turnover battle this season so far. So there's that. And then, this is kind of like half a statistic because I'm going to look at just the first half of this, but we held Derrick Henry to 13 carries, 35 yards in the first half. That's good for the first half. Nonetheless, they still held King Henry to 35 yards. That's pretty darn impressive. So, those were the bright spots in the Seahawks game against the Titans. Now, for the negative. But before I rant, I got to give credit to the Tennessee Titans, because it wouldn't be fair of me to just say, oh, it was all Seahawks and the Titans didn't do nothing. They definitely did their share, did their part to win this game. One, they never gave up. They kept fighting. Two, they kept running the ball, because when you got Derrick Henry, King Henry the 8th I am, you just keep giving him the ball. Kind of could have kept giving the ball to Chris Carson, but hey, they kept feeding him the rock, and eventually they just wore him down, and they also threw to him out of the backfield. Where was that, Shane Waldron? So that was good. They also made some adjustments defensively. They changed their scheme. They kind of did some blitzing out of the corners, and they didn't just run the same pattern. They obviously realized something wasn't working, and head coach Vrabel realized there was something not working and made some good adjustments offensively and defensively. Tannehill was solid. He wasn't great, but he was good. And he kept sticking with it, and he kept hitting whatever the defense gave to him. And we gave lots of check down. And we never stopped not getting the check down. They checked down their way all the way down the field. And so, and defensively, like I said, they did some great things, got pressure that they didn't get in the first half. So credit to the Titans for what they did to fight their way back in this game. And I look at it as, in a game like this where it obviously comes to overtime, and when you have to come back from such a deficit as they had, you not only need the team that had to come back from behind, had to make all the plays they had to make. And granted, they blew some opportunities. They missed a field goal too. They had a touchdown that was called back. That borderline, it looked like it, but from certain angles, it looked like, maybe it was a touchdown. And then the safety, no call at the end. What was that? The game really should have ended on a safety on Russell Wilson. I mean, stop the forward progress at the 1.5 yard line. There was no forward progress going on. There was nothing but sack going on in there. So it was either in the grasp in the end zone or he intentionally grounded the ball. Either way, all they did was prolong the inevitable, which was that we kicked the ball back to the Titans. They went down the field, already practically in field goal range, just so we can pad the stats a little bit more, and then they get the extra point or the field goal to win it. So I would have been fine if they'd actually been a safety. It would have actually been more poetically correct to have us lose on a safety. That I would have actually liked that punishment better than the one that we got. It just stretched out, dragged out was unnecessarily. And I still don't understand the call. It makes no sense at all to me. But not only did the Titans have to make all the plays, but the Seahawks had to do a bunch of things wrong to allow the door to be open for the Titans to come back. And if they do any one of these things or not do one of these things that they did, we win this game. There's a number of multiple things. I'm going to talk about those things. All right. So let's get into it, shall we? So just to put this in a little perspective, this is the first home opening loss since 2008. Do you guys remember 2008? Some of you weren't even born in 2008, all right? 2008 was that crappy year that Mike Holmgren had his last year here, and they went 4-12. The year that the Sonics left Seattle were stolen from us. And I don't know what other crap happened in 2008. It was not a good year. That was the last time we lost a home opener. And this was supposed to be our coming back party. This was supposed to be the return of the fans to the stadium after being gone for over a year. This was supposed to be my celebration on my birthday. Hey, welcome back to the stadium. It's my birthday. Hallelujah. It's a great day. Didn't happen. Unbelievably. And so there's that. And as I was watching that game, I was thinking to myself, we had a 15-point lead. I don't remember the last time we blew a 15-point lead like this. So I did some research. Okay. This is the worst blown lead in the Russell Wilson era. It's the worst blown lead in the Pete Carroll era. In fact, it's the worst blown lead practically in this century. You have to go down back to 2004 against the Rams where he blew a 17-point lead. 2004. That was the last time we blew a lead as bad as this. Okay. Prior to that, you have to go into the 80s and 70s where we were talking about blowing 17-point leads and worse. So we have never had that was 2004. That's 17 years ago. We haven't in almost 2 decades had a blown lead at home this bad. So that's how big that cushion was. And in a team that normally, Seattle, there was a statistic for a while there where if we were the team leading by, I think, 10 points at the half, we're like 60-1 or 60-2 or some crazy thing. Well, it's now 60-3 because they just messed that up. Okay, so that just gives you it gives you context of how big a blown lead this was. Okay, this isn't just something, that was so bad since 2 years ago. No, it hadn't happened in 17 years. Okay, a lead this big. All right, so my initial feeling watching this was this looked a lot like 2020, the beginning of 2020. This is supposed to be the Shane Waldron offense. We fired Schottenheimer for a reason. We're not going to let Russ cook. Well, what did we do? Our offense really didn't do anything except for a bunch of big plays that Russell Wilson threw bombs on or had a short field after a sack. We didn't have a lot of sustained drives. That's what I thought this offense was meant to be. A lot of, short stuff, get yardage, get first downs. Up-tempo, yardage, first down conversion, keep going down the field. No, it was like stutter, 3 and out, or stutter, throw a bomb and get a huge score that way. So that was a lot like what 2020 looked like. So strange that we were back in that mode, even though we're not supposed to be. And the difference, though, I just want to also bring this up. So look at last year. I know we finished 12-4 last year, right? And this has been the case for a while. The Seahawks, in the beginning of the year, we've played the Patriots, the Cowboys, and the Vikings, all in the first several games. And in all 3 of those games, we were down to the last either play, like the Patriots at the goal line. The Vikings, it came down to like the hair of our chinny chin chin. We had to make a stop at 4th and short and go all the way down the field on multiple 4th downs and have DK Metcalf get a 4th down touchdown to win that game. I mean, that's how close we were to losing that game. And then the Cowboys, we almost lost that game, if not for a turnover and if not for a fortunate interception in the end zone while Cowboys were driving to take the lead. My point being is that those are 3 games in that pattern that we followed, which was basically throw a lot of stuff deep, not have great yardage and drives, and the defense giving up a crap load of yards. Very much like 2020. And we were very lucky in 2020. We could have, those 3 games alone right there, if we lose those games, instead of being 12-4, we're 9-7 on those 3 games alone. So we're on a razor's edge. And I know that's the way we tend to play it, but that is how close things are to what it could have been last year. I feel like right now we're not that different right now from what we were doing last year. So granted, I understand D. Eskridge was out. We were missing his speed and dimension in the game. And we also, had some other injuries. Brian Monet being injured on the line, that did not help because we missed him, inside. But can't keep making excuses because, there's still a lot of stuff there. All right, so I'm going to kind of break down the rest of my rant here into sort of 3 main areas where the Seahawks failed. Let's start at number 1. Offensive ineptness. Okay, we had no running game. Chris Carson ran 13 attempts for like 30 something yards. I don't know. It wasn't good. It wasn't enough. And where were the tight ends in this? The Shane Waldron offense is predicated on the run game and the tight ends. And Gerald Everett had like, one pass, maybe two. I don't think Justin even touched the ball or even got targeted. And they were big in the first game, but where did that go? Was it something the Titans did, or was it just something we forgot to do? Logan in the Super Chats. This game gave me a huge 2015 Seahawks versus Bengals feel to it. When we came out firing, destroying them, and ended up blowing a 17-point lead and losing in OT. Yeah, that was a bad loss. That was a big loss. Again, not at home, but it was a horrible loss. And anytime you blow a big lead, of course, it's going to feel like that. Chef Jack Attack, we still got this. Always positive, Chef Jack Attack. Okay, so yeah, where were the tight ends? I don't understand. Was it a scheme that they schemed us out of it, or did we somehow just forget to utilize them? But look at this box score. I'm just going to read a few things that just sort of spell out why a lot of people I've been reading on social media and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, people are blaming the defense. Oh, the defense can't stop anybody. It's Trey Flowers. We need to fire him, get rid of him and all that stuff. Okay, so there's some truth to all that. But look at this. The number of first downs your team gets is not based on the defense. It's based on your team's ability to get drives and to sustain the drives. Let me just read these out. First downs. Titans 33, Seahawks 17, almost double the number of first downs. Okay. Third down efficiency. Titans were 6 of 14 and we were 4 of 12. Ain't gonna get done. It's less than 33%. Total plays. The Titans ran 83 plays. We ran 52. 52. Total yards, 532 to 397. That is a whole 130, 140 almost yards more than us. Yet the total drives were about the same, 13 to 12. So it wasn't like we didn't have our chances. We just didn't make the most of them. To me, that's the biggest telling point. The fact they had 13 drives to our 12, but they had 33 first downs to our 17. That's on the offense, all right? Passing, we were identical, 320 yards exactly apiece. The difference was 6.4 yards per pass. Ours was 7.6. They were doing a lot of small stuff. Ours were much larger, obviously. 7.4 per pass to 9.4 yards per pass. Sacks were about even. We sacked them 3 for 27 times. Ours were 3 for 23 yards. I should say 3 for 27 yards for them, 3 for 23 yards. Unfortunately, ours came at really bad times. Rushing. Tale of two halves. First half, we were pretty even. Second half, they finished up with 212 yards rushing, 77 for us. 40 rushing attempts. 40 by the Titans. 18 by the Seahawks. If that's not committing to the run, discrepancy right there, I don't know what is. They were 2 for 6 in the red zone. We were 2 for 3. And one of those 3 being very costly. I'll bring that up in a second. Penalties. Now I got to get into the penalties later. That's in the box score. But let's just say it right now. 5 for 45, 10 for 100. 10 for 100. We had a football field's length in penalties. A football field. 100 yards in penalties. Kind of hard to put that in perspective. That's a lot of field. And then finally, time of possession. 42-33 to 22-42. Let me say that again. 42 minutes, 33 seconds to 22 minutes, 42 seconds. That is 20 minutes, almost double the amount of time that they had the ball for. Okay, so that's just to give you a little perspective on the numbers on how bad the offense was. And don't let the score fool you, because I see, we had 30 points. They got them on 2 bombs, a sack at practically their goal line. So it's 3 plays that took that, and then 1 really good drive at the end of the first half. But the other 3 were took a second. And again, when that happens, the defense barely goes, what? We go back again? Okay. So Chad Bagley on the Super Chats. There's a lot of chats going on, but I'm going to recognize the Super Chats. Derrick Henry going bonkers and halftime adjustments is what won the game. Agreed. Also, I'm a Titans fan, but love your channel. Thank you. I hate the fact that you're a Titans fan, but I love the fact that you love my channel. I think I can say that that's okay. Jeremy G. Will Chrysostom be a Vancouver Canucks fan this year?
What? Hell no. I'm not even a hockey fan. I'm not going to root for anybody. Screw them all.
Okay. So back to my thing. So that was part number one. See, I told you I had a lot to say. Number two, lack of execution. Now, this is kind of all around. I'm just going to list a bunch of plays to me that were the critical plays where had we done one of these things, it would have changed the result of the game. And just to show how that works, how just one lack of execution on one single play would have changed the result. But there's multiple options here. First quarter, the first drive, which was a good drive by Seattle. It was the second drive. They went down the field, had the first pass to Lockett. But on 3rd and 4, Wilson rolls right. Tyler Lockett wide open. I've hit this a million times on Madden. Wilson's hit it a million times in real life. Overthrows him. Tyler doesn't dive for it. I don't know what happens, but he missed it. We settle for the field goal. That's 4 points. You turn that touchdown into a field goal into a touchdown, the game's over. Quarter number 3. I'm fast forwarding all the way into the third quarter. 13:06 into the game, or 13:06 the third quarter. We're leading 30-16 on that touchdown to Freddie Swain. We're feeling all good about ourselves. Doink! Jason Myers hits the upright, missed extra point. You're thinking, that's 14 points. We're still fine. Inside, I'm going, oh, crap. I have a bad feeling about this. And sure enough, what happens? You miss the extra point. Comes down to overtime, extra point. If you made it, it's a 2-point conversion. Now, granted, they could have gotten that also, but there's a lot more pressure when you have to get a 2-point conversion than an easy extra point. That was huge. Quarter number 3 with 12:17 left. Derrick Henry, King Henry's 60-yard touchdown run. Now, granted, he was going off on us, but the one thing we couldn't do is give up a really easy one, especially on the ground. And that one was ugly. Just couldn't afford to do it. Because if they had to take, say, 5 minutes to drive down the field and score, again, it changes the entire dynamic of the rest of the game. But you give them that touchdown, to comeback touchdown, right after we just scored that big one, they score in like 2 minutes or less. Suddenly, they're right back in the game with plenty of time. A lot of things happened there. Jamal Adams crashed in. Julio Jones put a beautiful block to basically take him out of the play. Derrick Henry bounces it outside. Trey Flowers, he's right there, but he's off. He doesn't come up. He doesn't make the play. Misses, dives for his ankles. Quandre Diggs, bad angle. He's the last line of defense. He takes a bad angle. Remind me of Super Bowl 40 when the Steelers started the second half with a touchdown run. Bad angle, ran right towards him, and next thing you know, he's chasing him from behind. Then gets stiff-armed to add to it. That play, I wouldn't even care if they'd scored a touchdown in that drive, but it couldn't have been done in 2 plays or 3 plays or whatever it was. That was inexcusable. Bad defensive alignment there. Quarter number 4 with 11 minutes left. 3rd and 2. At this point, we're thinking, man, if we just get one possession and get a point or a score, we'll make it a 2-score game, but make it real hard for them to come back. Well, Russell throws it down the left sideline to DK Metcalf, who kind of tries to one-hand the ball. And the defender, I don't know, he didn't turn around, so I don't know why they don't possibly look at pass interference there, because he's looking at DK hands up, but DK kind of tries to one-hand it and pull it in this way. And he doesn't get it. And it's 4th down, we have to give the ball back again. If he makes that catch, I think we win the game. 5:08 left in the 4th quarter. Again, we still have a chance. Despite all these failings, we still have a chance to win the game. 3rd down and 8. 5 minutes and 8 seconds left. Again, if we can just convert a first down or 2, maybe get the field goal range to ice it, we win this game. DK Metcalf falls short by 4th and 1. Okay, you know what? That would have been great if he could have gotten in there, could have somehow leaned it across, ran a slightly deeper route, whatever, but we didn't get it. It sets up 4th and 1. Oh, we're going to go for it. This is good. Be aggressive. Don't let them take it. Let's do it ourselves. False start. False start on 4th and 1 on a play you felt like you had to have. And then offensive lineman, false starts. Have to punt the ball. Of course, what happens? They score a touchdown off that, tie the ball game up. That was brutal. I mean, you felt like they were going to get this 1 yard and they can win this game. False start. Messed it up. But even then, we still had a chance. They scored. They're about to send it overtime, but we still have a little less than a minute to go down the field to get in field goal range. You're thinking, Russell can get 35 yards in a minute. He's done it before. But what happens? First play, Wilson throws to Travis Homer, who falls down, can't get out of bounds, so they get 3 yards and they have to burn a timeout. That sucked. That was a waste of time. And then the next play, Brandon Scheller, a lineman, not we can control that, but he gets injured, so we have to use a timeout because of the injury, and that just sucked. So now we're down another timeout. We got no timeouts left. Russell eventually runs it to the sideline to get it within Hail Mary mode, but instead of running the Hail Mary, they just kind of throw it to Lockett. There was a point when I was rewatching it again. I was like, you know what? Lockett could have run out of bounds with like 1 second left, and maybe Jason Myers could have tried a 63-yard field goal. I didn't even think about it at the time, but rewatching it, it's like, damn, he had, because everybody was back. They had 6 guys all down at the goal line waiting for the Hail Mary. And it was cool. They threw a play to run to basically lock it at the midfield, and then he ran. And I was thinking, man, if at the time it was like, oh, lateral it or something, do the Stanford band play. But instead, he just gets tackled in bounds, and then half's over. But I looked at it, I was like, man, if you thought about that play a bit further, if you'd actually thought, hey, get to the 45-yard line and go out of bounds with a second left, then you might be able to try that field goal. Or there's one more Hail Mary. I think there was enough time for it. I'd have to review the clock, but it felt like there might have been enough time just to get. I could be wrong. Maybe my clock and my alignment of where he was at wouldn't have mattered. But after further review, I want to check that out to see if we could have maybe done that. Not that it matters, because it's all like water under the bridge. But when you torture yourself by looking back at what coulda, shoulda, woulda, you want to look at all the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. What else? Then we go to overtime, and overtime was a disaster. Titans got the ball first. Yeah, we stopped them, but we had an unnecessary extra drive in there because we had roughing the passer, so they moved up down the field further, and we did get the stop. But because of that position, we ended up getting the ball at the 13-yard line or whatever it was, instead of the 25-yard line, which could have been something like that had we had gotten it would have been a 3-and-out had we not roughed the passer, but we apparently roughed the passer. So then, of course, is that terrible drive at the end of the last drive of overtime, where it was pass down the left sideline incomplete, pass down the left sideline incomplete, and then, of course, that dreadful call that we talked about already, where Wilson should have been, ruled sacked, intentional grounding, something. Should have been a safety, but it was good as done at that point. We knew that we were going to lose the game at that point. We would have taken a miracle of all miracles to have won the game with that. Justin Baldonado, you Filipino? Bobby Wagner needs to be better in his gaps. He ran behind his own guys. You can't expect the corners to take down Henry in the open field. I'll also add to that it became more apparent to me watching Bobby on some of the pass coverage that he's definitely slowed down a little bit. I love Bobby Wagner, believe me, of course, like everybody does in Seattle. But he did seem just a step slower in trying to cover some of these guys on some of these crossing routes. Just an observation. He's a great tackler. Always has and always will be. But he is a step slower. FYI. Okay. Where are we here? So, again, if any of these plays happens, we win the game. And again, I don't blame the defense, because that the defense, after a while, if you leave them on the field long enough, they're going to get tired. And when you've got a running back like Derrick Henry, he's going to take advantage of that tired condition. It doesn't matter how good you are in the first half, but if you're worn out because you've been out there for twice as long as the other defense has been, it's going to wear you out. And Derrick Henry is the ultimate wear you out running back. So if Seattle's offense could have gotten a few more extended drives, and even if they didn't score any points, if they could have just extended the drives a little bit longer, held on and got better field position on some of those drives, this game would have been over before overtime. Finally, the last one, I already mentioned it already, 10 penalties for 100 yards. Let's look at a few of these crucial ones. At 224, roughing the passer, Robert Kindiche, or however you pronounce his name, number 92. Again, we possibly could have been out of that position, but we got the ball moved forward as a result of that. In the third quarter, 2nd and 12, we get that unnecessary roughness by Jordan Brooks. That was really horrible. The fact that he tackled the dude so far out of bounds. He got taken out of the game because of that, actually. But that turned a 2nd and 12 into a first down at that point and short. Fourth quarter, the taunting call. 8 minutes, 8 seconds left in the game. 1st and 10, Tennessee's 48-yard line. DJ Reed does a great job being in pass coverage. And then he gets called for taunting, and then Tennessee gets the ball at the 37-yard line. I looked at that again because I couldn't tell from the stands. I had to watch it again on the broadcast or the replay. And, what he did was not that bad. And I think if it's last year or any year before this one, they don't call anything. But because they have this new emphasis on calling taunting this year, that is why they called it. And it's going to happen more often through the rest of the season because there's just an emphasis on it. So you cannot look at a player. You can't stand over a player. You can't do anything to a player who's down. You can't even give him a dirty look, apparently. You just got to walk off, celebrate with your fans, celebrate with your teammates, but you cannot look like you're trying to be intimidating to the other player. It sucks. It's stupid, I think, but it's what it was. And this is one of many penalties that cost us that was just probably getting too amped up or just young guys not using their head. But for the record, I still think it sucks. I think that penalty sucks. It's like, come on, guys. I mean, what are you turning this game into? The SFL, the Sissy Football League? Come on. Then we got, I brought up already, 4 minutes, 24 seconds left in the game. 4:24. You know what that means? It's like you get 4th and 1 at 4:24. You get that. You force Tennessee to burn all the timeouts, and you're likely getting close to field goal range, or at least pinning them down deep in their territory with no timeouts left. False start killed us. 4th and 1. You can't do that. You can't do it. It's your home field. You're not dealing with noise. Just go on the count. How hard is that? Then, of course, in overtime, I talked about already. It was 3rd and 4. At the Tennessee 24, this would have been 3 and out, and then we got the roughing the passer call. And it resulted in the drive ending at the 34-yard line of Tennessee, which you don't think is a big deal. 24, 34, what's the difference? Well, the difference is 10 yards. And the difference of 10 yards is ball at the 13-yard line versus ball at the 23-yard line. That's a big difference when your starting field position is impacted by that. So there's that aspect. And I left a few penalties out because I want to make this little side point. As a finish to the penalties part. What is going on with DK Metcalf? Okay, we all know that this is his 3rd year. He's entering into a contract year. This is kind of his must-produce year. I think we all have high hopes that he's going to be one of the greatest receivers ever. But it's not looking like that right now. He had a decent game in that first one, although he didn't get targeted in the first half of the Colts game. Got a touchdown in the second half. This one, he was a measly 6 catches for 53 yards. On 11 targets, so he only got half of the completion of the attempts, basically, and only 2 of those for first downs. No touchdowns. And to add to that, he had several penalties on him that hurt the team. A couple of holds, a couple of hold pass interference, offensive pass interference. What's going on with DK Metcalf? Is he just too amped up? Is he trying too hard? Is he frustrated? He's an emotional guy. We've seen that. But we talked about at the end of that loss to the Rams last year that DK Metcalf's got to learn to dial in his energy. Can't let his emotions, affect his play and affect the team. Well, not that the penalties were emotion based, but they're execution based, and he's, should not be getting that many penalties as a wide receiver. That should not happen. That's an offensive lineman. That's a Jermaine Ifedi kind of thing. That's not a wide receiver thing. You catch the ball. Now the other side of it is, why is he not getting the ball? Why is he not getting the ball downfield more? There should be opportunities there, and I don't understand why he's not getting more of them. So there's a lot of things to work out there. He's got to work on those off-ball things. He's got to work on the things where he's not the receiver. He's got to work on the blocking. He's got to be able to do those things. He's got to be able to catch the ball when called upon. And he had opportunities to be heroic. That one-handed catch that he dropped, that would have been a first down. The fourth or third and 8 where he fell a yard short, just for whatever reason, didn't get it done. And the penalty things just got to get cleaned up. So, it's concerning. And I just hope it doesn't build. I hope it goes the other direction, because if he continues to get frustrated with whatever's going on and losing his composure, it's going to be bad for everybody involved. So I hope he can find his way, and I hope they can find the connection, because they got to keep feeding him the rock and use that big frame, that big fast body. Nobody can out-muscle him, theoretically. But for some reason, they're not taking advantage of it. 6 catches, 53 yards, not good enough. The only other good news I can say on this is my YouTube video of this did really well, of my game reaction inside the stadium. At one point, at the end, when it got close to halftime or overtime, I think at one point I had over 3,000 viewers watching it, and this video was hit over $35,000. 35,000 viewers. I always said $35,000. 35,000 viewers since it launched, and it's still climbing a little bit steadily. So that's the only good thing I could say to add to all that. So what needs to happen for the Vikings? Well, pretty much the opposite of all that I just said. We failed on every aspect of the ball. Offensively primarily, but defensively we screwed up. Special teams screwed up. Penalties were atrocious. So this game really was, again, credit to the Titans, because they did everything they had to do to come back. But boy, we didn't have enough. We needed a machine gun to shoot as many bullets as we had to into our feet, because there were so many. One less chamber of bullets, and we win that game. Again, we haven't had a loss at home this bad since 2004. So that's how bad that loss was. So, sucky way to celebrate my birthday. Wasn't supposed to go that way. It was supposed to be a birthday present from the Seahawks. That was all I wanted, really, for my birthday, was a Seahawks win. That was one thing I didn't get. I got everything else. Great friends, great company, great food, everything. And the win was the one thing missing. Very disappointing. Very sad. Vikings, Elena is saying that they're desperate. They need a win to not be 0-3. Talk about a team with also, bad luck. Anytime it comes down to one final play like this, imagine the Vikings, man. They're just like, man, we cannot get out of field goal missed hell. Having another missed field goal. And I was listening to Paul Allen, the voice of the Vikings, and he actually called it wrong. He goes, the kick is up and it's good. Oh, no, he missed it. It's hilarious. Look it up on Twitter or YouTube or whatever. But it's pretty hilarious that he thought it was good and he was already cheering that it was good and he missed it. You should know by now. But that was very fortunate for the Vikings. But, oh well. Now we just got to take that and try to run with it. And they start out 2 games on the road. Now it's their home opener. So we're going to be battling the noise of the Vikings crowd. Skol! For this upcoming game. So it's going to be very challenging. We're going to have to stop Dalvin Cook in that run game, Justin Jefferson, and Kirk Cousins. We need Kirk Cousins to be the Kirk Cousins that always faces us when he's in a Vikings uniform, because he'd be no good against us. But how long can we keep this up? He was pretty darn good against us last year, and should have won that game. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings should have beat us in primetime last year, if not for a lot of luck. A lot of effort by us, but a lot of luck too. So can that luck hold on and allow us to get another win against the Vikings? We'll see. Logan in the Super Chat says, what made me was 3rd and 3. We try a 20-yard pass that goes incomplete. Right. I think that's the one, the DK Metcalf one. Why? Is this the same team from last year that lives and dies off the deep ball? That's my point exactly. It felt a lot like 2020 and not the Shane Waldron offense that I had come to expect. So many things are missing this past game, and I don't understand why. All right, so, and Matt D, thank you for subbing. Appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to open up the Discord lines again. If you want to comment in on this game, you can do so by joining the Discord and then joining the voice stream game day party chat line. And I'm just going to pull up a few that are standing by here and just see what they have to say. So I'm going to start off here with, first I got to activate Discord. All right, I think it's activated. All right, there we go. Let me start with Sky High Aviation. Sky High Aviation, you there?
Yes, I am. Can you guys hear me good?
I think everybody can hear you. It should be good. Sky High Aviation, regular person here on the Discord, an active staff person. What you got, man?
Oh, boy. We have, I'm just going to say, we've pissed down our legs almost these first two games. And I'm going to say the first two games because Seattle is trending right now, and we're trending in a downward direction. And you brought up the penalties. You brought up the time of possession. And the real thing that cost us this past week was the time of possession. When your offense is scoring in 3-minute spurts and putting your defense back out there, yeah, it's great. They're scoring points, but eventually you are not going to be able to keep up. And what I mean by trend is in the first game, Seattle was, we thought they played pretty good. Did they play good, Norb? In the first game?
I thought they looked pretty solid. Yeah, I say that they look pretty good, but I also knew that we got away with some stuff that if the Colts don't make a couple of weird decisions or some bad mistakes by Carson Wentz, that game's a lot closer than it turned out to be. But I thought, overall, I liked the offensive presentation. It looked good. Not the same offense that we saw.
Would you be surprised to know if we had know that we pretty much had the same amount of time of possession in the first game as well as the second game?
I guess I'd be a little bit surprised. I'd be a little bit surprised because it seemed pretty more drastic in the second half. But wow, that is pretty surprising actually. That because I know the second half of the Colts game is kind of like this one. It seems like the Seattle comes out strong in the first half, and that second half, particularly the third quarter, is non-existent. Third quarter, our offense just never comes out of the locker room apparently. So
again, my point is, the first two games we've never been on the field for more than 25 minutes. That's a problem, especially when you've got a weaker secondary, when you have a defense that is out there for that long. It's going to be pretty hard for them to produce a solid, absolute, perfect outing.
Let me add to that, Sky High. The other thing too is that, and I'm guilty of it too, I have been asking for a more up-tempo offense, which they had. I was looking at the play clock every time they came out of the huddle. Pretty much they were breaking the huddle with 25 seconds left on the play clock, which is great. It's like, all right, they're ready to go. We're not going to have to worry about delayed games. But of course, what does that mean? It means they're also burning through their plays and going through downs very quickly, which means that much more time the defense doesn't get to rest. And it works great if you get conversions and you score. It really sucks for the defense if you go 3 and out. And that's what happens.
Now,
so it's twice as short. I'm going to
make a comparison. This would have been the perfect offense to run in the 2013 when we had the Legion of Boom. That was turning it over 3-4 times a game. That would have been fine, because if you're going to run an offense that takes 3 minutes to get 90 yards down the field, then you're going to be able to have your defense to trust that they're going to be able to be ball hawkers. They're going to be able to turn the ball over. That's something that we can't trust here in Seattle. But I want to elaborate on the Tennessee game. Especially with the penalties and all that. And I mean, the defense played good in the first half. They played pretty good for Seattle defense standards as of today. They did a good job containing Derrick Henry. The penalties were a bit excessive. The second half, it was just non-existent. And I know that some of the plays are not meant to be touchdown plays. Some of the plays Tennessee just flat out busted, like the Tyler Lockett play. Was that really supposed to be a touchdown?
No. That should have been like a 25-yard gain and then tackled after that. Freddie Swain should have been wide open.
The Swain one, they busted the coverage on those two plays.
Right.
And the other two touchdowns were Chris Carson touchdowns, one based off a turnover. So the offense isn't that bad. They're just moving at a too quick
at a light speed. And the 2 minute offense, which is one of the best drives they had. Not that it mattered because defense didn't have to go out the field again, but they ran that 2 minute drill with super precise, super precision because they made it down in like less than a minute. They had a minute and 6, I think, left in the clock, and they got down there in like 30 seconds to score the touchdown. I mean, it was incredible. Unfortunately, that was the last good thing they did. So
what we need to do is run the ball more, balance out the possession, and I think people are frustrated. Well, DK hasn't caught a deep pass yet. DK hasn't caught a touchdown yet. Shane Waldron has a special use for
No, he got a touchdown. He got a touchdown.
Yeah, he has a touchdown, but they mean well, we haven't seen the regular DK, which is catching deep balls and tossing people. DK Metcalf has a special role in this offense, and I love it. His role is to catch those intermediate short patterns, and because he's a big dude, guess what big dudes do? Guess what Derrick Henry does? Makes a living. He breaks tackles. He sheds tackles. He gets yards across the line of scrimmage. So if we're throwing DK 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards every single play, or not every single play, but 3-4 times a possession, you're getting DK instead of 6, 7, 8 yards with Tyler Lockett, who normally tends to go down, but right after he catches the ball, he'll just fall to the ground. It's DK Metcalf who's going to look for that contact. He's going to lower his shoulder. He's going to get those yardage. That's the expectation. Now, I want to talk about DK Metcalf's penalties. He doesn't look like he gives a shit out there, to be honest. I mean, the penalties, I mean, you can see it from a mile away. They throw the screen to Lockett. DK's just grabbing him. Like, what am I supposed to do with him? He looks clueless out there. Almost. Right. He looks pretty much clueless out there. And
yeah, it's like if he's not getting the ball, he's doing his own thing. And it's like, he's got to remember, he's got to do his job. And that job may not be catching the ball. In fact, most of the time, it's not catching the ball.
He needs to learn that when you throw a screen like that, you're going to run upfield because the defender's going to go with you. Because if the defender doesn't go, the defender doesn't know what the play is likely. So I know the broadcasters mentioned this. DK, just run straight up the field, and the defender will follow. And Tyler Lockett's got some yards and a couple defenders to beat. Right. You don't even have to grab them.
Yeah, just be a decoy. Just pull them away. Right.
Just be a decoy. So he needs to calm down. The taunting penalties, he needs to relax on. Just needs to keep his mouth shut. Needs to be like Megatron. The offensive line, I think they've done an okay job. Russell Wilson, for some reason, he still keeps getting sacked. I don't think we're ever going to escape that problem. The defensive line has been impressive, to say the least. Besides Derrick Henry running to the outside and destroying us in the second half, which is partly their fault, the interior line has been amazing. I've been extremely impressed with Brian Monet. I've been extremely impressed with Pooh Ford. Those guys have been tearing it up. I would like to see a little bit more involvement from Carlos Dunlap. I haven't seen as much as I expected. Right. Yeah,
I expected him to be in the backfield a little bit more. And again, to credit the defense, look at the first half. Look at the first half. They held Derrick Henry to 13 carries, 35 yards. They kept the Titans to 9 points. And that's pretty good. You're basically bending. I kept saying throughout the game, wow, we're like bending like a you-know-what and not breaking because we're like, and you wait for it to snap. Unfortunately, it's like third quarter, then it did break. But it held steady for like a good 2 quarters and then some. But after that,
so basically, what to look forward to for next week is to even out the time of possession. You're essentially playing the same exact team that Tennessee is in Minnesota. Minnesota and Tennessee are almost identical teams when it comes to comparison of players and personnel. I wouldn't
say Dalvin Cook. I wouldn't compare Dalvin Cook to Derrick Henry. They're both great runners. They're both great runners, but they're very different styles.
Well, yeah, but you want to prepare for the same type of personnel that you're going to see. Maybe not the same kind of plays or run or style, but again, you're going to be preparing for that same type of personnel. And Seattle just needs to go out there, shred that young Minnesota defense. It's a young team out there. We saw what Joe Burrow did to this team. And Joe Burrow's not a really good quarterback. He kind of shredded the Minnesota defense. So Russell Wilson should have a field day. Just work on getting the offense in motion, work on getting that defense the breaks that they need, and eventually the defense will be able to force turnovers, which is what we need. And there was one more thing that I was going to say about I was happy to see the 12-man back, to be honest. I was really happy. I saw the broadcast come on intro and I was like, oh my God, that place is full. Nowadays that place is, the people are still late getting into games and all that, and eventually by the second quarter you have a full house, but that place was packed even before the intro or the players ran out on the field. I'm so happy we'd be bringing the noise. and all that. And I think this is just as daunting and as tough as a loss it may be seen. It's an early season gut punch. But again, this is a game that you want to look out for later in the season when it comes to home field advantage, when it comes to who wins the division. You're going to want to look back at this Tennessee game and think, uh-oh, because those mistakes. And I say it every single day. I say it all the time. Every Seattle Seahawks game, except for about 2 in the Pete Carroll Super Bowl pass era, we could have won. Had it not been for 2 silly execution mistakes, 2 silly mistakes that we made, we could have won those games.
Well, most of these games usually come down to, unless it's a blowout, it always comes down to a couple of moments that a missed extra point, a false start, a dropped ball, a penalty, and this was just like it, So, I do want to add, because there was first I want to welcome those Titans fans who are here because, I don't hold any grudges. But Titans Rossi and Keisha Bible, I think, or is it? No, it's somebody else. Anyway, there's some Titans fans in here. Credit to the Titans because you guys fought your butts off and did what you had to do to come back and win this game. So I knew it was going to be close. I never thought we were going to blow these guys away, but I thought we would eke it out. Unfortunately, it was eked out on the wrong side. One more thing. I wanted to say, I want to add too that, who was it? Somebody had mentioned that they didn't think it was a sellout because they were there. I was there obviously too. I would say that our stadium when it's full is around 68,000+, close to 69,000. I would say that they probably sold. Yeah, they probably sold the tickets. But I say in attendance, it was probably more like 65, 66. They look like there's a couple thousand empty holes spread out around. And that's pretty normal. They usually have. There's never a time when every single seat's filled up. So there were some gaps. There were some gaps in the thing. But from a volume standpoint, it was good. My only complaint is that several times during the game, the freaking 12 started doing the Seahawks while we had the ball. And then the worst part about that is not only the people who start that, the people who jump on and add to it, but then you have the people like my friend Mark on the side of me who yells, "Shut up!" which only adds to the noise, which drives me even further crazy. So will you guys just shut the F up, all right? Just be quiet when we have the ball. How hard is it to just close your mouth, all right? If you're going to go to the game and we have the ball, shut your mouth. Except when we do something good, or if we score a touchdown, or if we celebrate a first down. Otherwise, shut the F up.
Game etiquette.
How hard is it?
Oh, wow. Game etiquette, Norb. Game etiquette.
It is. It's common sense, but apparently people don't know that. It's different, though, because I know, like, if I'm cheering for my girls in volleyball, except when they're serving, think about it like when a player's serving, right? You don't yell when they're serving. Same thing like when the team has the offense. Now, when they're starting to hit and do all this stuff, you make all your noise. But not when they're in the middle of a crucial point, like right before the snap.
I will say, the people that piss me off the most are the ones that show up and don't make any noise at all. Sorry, Dad. Well,
I'd rather them show up and not make noise. If they make noise, I'd rather not make noise than make noise during the worst possible time. Personally. Yeah,
they're just standing. It's third down. We're making noise. Crunch time, fourth quarter. They're just standing there watching. They're just like, oh, we're gonna hope what happens. Make some noise.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people like that.
Do your part.
Alina, the moderator queen, says, "Norb, are you able to get to a Husky game this year? You need a bleep machine on your phone at the games." Well, definitely, if I'm sitting next to Mark Collins, I definitely need a bleep machine. And even for myself, I needed to bleep myself because in a game like this, sometimes you just can't control it. I mean, when you blow a lead, you see the end coming. Yeah, there's going to be an F-bomb and an S-bomb here and there, which I definitely
don't watch the part where Russell almost get safety. I think he went bit bonkers on that.
I bleeped it out on my little replay version, but I know it's in there in the regular version. All right, I want to get a few other calls in here, but man, that's good breakdown, man. Good job, Sky High.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's go to Nick LeBeau. Nick LeBeau.
What's up?
Staff Master. Can I just say that you and Sky High's voices have just lowered an octave since the year I've gotten to know you guys? It's amazing how much has changed since a year. But Nick LeBeau.
Crazy. It's been around a year already.
It has been. I mean, and seriously, it's an octave. You're like, "Hi, how's it going? This is Nick LeBeau." And now it's like, "Hey, man, this is Nick LeBeau talking to you." So what do you got? What do you got on this freaking game?
Well, man, that was tough. Tough to watch. tough to it was just tough in general. When you have a game so won, kind of like we did, and then just kind of slowly lose it, makes it even tougher. And even with like all the preventable mistakes, like the stuff that we know this team can do well, yet they're just not executing to the point. It makes it even tougher. And I thought this game really kind of highlighted some of our main needs, which I think right now is center and a cornerback too, and which we might already have on the roster for cornerback too.
They might just need time. They're just buying the time to get them. We had two potentials waiting on the bench.
Yeah, Sidney Jones. We got Trey Brown, who is our
plus that other guy, Bless something, right?
Yeah, Bless Austin, who signed off waivers.
He was on the top of my list, but there's a lot of competition there, obviously, that they're just trying to make sure they're ready to go.
Yeah, and also a position that I really haven't been heard talked about that I kind of think should be talked about is the center position. I know Ethan Posick's out. I think he's out on IR for another 2 to 3 weeks at least. But I think right now we should be looking at bringing in a free agent, a potential Austin Reeder from the Chiefs. He played with them last year. Pretty solid guy. Just to kind of fill that spot, because right now Kyle Fuller is not playing good at all. He is giving up sack after sack, and it kind of goes back to the Jermaine Ifedi effect, which is when a guy like that, a center, or in his case a tackle, in Ifedi's case a tackle, when they really cannot consistently hold their assignment, then another guy has to go relieve them. Then boom, the other guy that was coming for the guy who went to relieve the center or whatever who failed, it just kind of mixes everything up. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's pressure at Russell Wilson's doorstep. So we really need to look at a center option for at least the next 3 to 4 weeks while Posick's out. And even beyond that point, if Posick doesn't return to kind of that solid play he had in 2020, I really don't know why Shane Waldron went away from what he did last week, because what he did last week worked, and I believe the Colts defense is better than the Titans defense. Right. We had a lot of screen plays. We had jet sweeps. Yes, I know.
They have Eskridge was out, but yeah, the tight ends. The missing case of the case of the missing tight ends really had me baffled.
Yeah. Especially on those third and short scenarios.
Yeah, just put a tight end there, like take 2 steps and turn around, and then you got it. I even saw this thing, which is, in my opinion, is a rookie mistake by Shane Waldron, where we were kind of looking like the Jets in Washington, and even the Falcons in the Super Bowl. We're up 15, yet we're continuing to do these mid-level kind of out route, 7 to 10 yard passing plays, when we should have been running Chris Carson and chewing the clock. Sure. And I think it's very clear that when the running game is working and we're getting 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, then the offense works great. What happens is we're 2nd and 8, and then we're 3rd and 7 or 3rd and more than 10, then we have our good old pass protection problems again, because we can't run the short, quick stuff, and then that's when the sacks happen and all that. So really have to get the running game going. That unfortunately never really got going at the clip he was going. Yeah. But they did abandon it. I would have liked to, after seeing Alex Collins run, I would have liked to see a little mixing up with Alex Collins, give Carson a breather, but don't abandon the run game entirely.
And we were even doing like kind of quick, and then that also goes along with it. If you're doing quick, short 3-yard passes to midfield, that's still chewing the clock and gaining
it's like
yards.
A run. It's like a 5-yard handoff, essentially. And that's what the Titans did to us. There was that one drive that I think it's the one that they tied us on, but they just ran check down after check down after check down, and because we were all dropping deep, and they would just send that little guy out there. And for years I've said, why doesn't Seattle do that?
Burn us with Julio.
Yeah. But that check down thing is, Chris Carson can catch the ball. He could do that.
Oh yeah, and
Tight
we
end
even
could
saw
do that.
Homer go in and do some of that.
Yeah,
and
he did
was
that,
pretty
on the
he was
right
pretty
side
solid when doing that. We kept him in. I think he had probably 3 or 4 plays where he was out there and he had a few catches, and then we just stopped. We went back to the passing. And yeah, getting DK, like Sky High said, we got to get DK involved on those short routes because that is a big body that can truck people, and he's elusive too. He's a quick guy. He can juke. He can make moves. So we definitely need to kind of shake it up. Go more towards what we were doing in week 1 because that got us the win. And kind of like I said before, that got us the win against a better defense in the Colts defense.
Right.
And even if the O-line isn't blocking well, on run blocks, which it really kind of wasn't, you can put in tight end packages, 3 tight end sets, get those extra blockers in there, get Nick Ballore in there to block, go hit the outside to the long side of the field, because we have fast runners too. Alex Collins, while he's big and he's kind of he kind of has the build of a kind of power back, he's still quick. And we can even get DK involved on the jet sweeps while Eskridge is out.
Right.
So Waldron definitely needs to kind of fix up and keep the offense more balanced, because when it falls imbalanced, that's kind of when the Seahawks go down. To relieve our defense, he's gotta get the running game involved, longer drives, quicker passes. And I thought the defense played pretty well. I mean, we really contained Derrick Henry well in the first quarter. And Derrick Henry is one of those guys where it's kind of inevitable that he's going to break out and have a big run. I was saying it the entire game, he would have these 10 kind of 13-yard, what I call hint plays, where just barely didn't break out. And once they kind of started targeting the edges in the third and fourth quarter, that's really when he did it, and he ended up getting that 60-yard run.
Yep. No, that was a backbreaker. I mean, they didn't take the lead on that, but that play really kind of changed the game, made it a lot closer than had they been able to contain him and make them do a real drive that would have taken 3, 4, or 5 minutes. All right. Well, I'm going to try to get a few more people in here. This has gone a little bit longer than I thought. I actually have a live stream Madden simulation schedule that was supposed to start 5 minutes ago, but I'm still in this simulation. So clearly, or I'm in this video. So clearly I'm not doing the Madden yet. So if you guys are waiting for that, it's going to be late if you can't already tell. But I do want to get a few more people because there are some names in here I haven't seen. Would like to get a few more comments. Right. And then I will jump over to the Madden sim.
Get the win next week.
Yeah, we need to. This is kind of a must-win situation. It's kind of a must-win. I hate to say it in week 3, but it kind of is.
Oh yeah, looking at the next kind of 4 games and 5 after that.
Got a gauntlet coming up.
It's tough.
And it's
we have a tough stretch.
So we don't want to be looking 1-4 to start the season or something like that. So, all right, thanks,
and the
Nick.
Vikings are coming off 2 embarrassing losses.
Should have won that game, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that I root for them, but I wanted the Cardinals to lose, and they should have lost. And really, there was a lot of NFC West teams that could have lost. There were a lot of pretty close finishes. But Carson Wentz, man, no surprise, sprains both ankles. It was just a matter of time before that thing goes down. The dude's made of glass. All right, Nick LeVeaux, thanks for chiming in.
Thank you, Norb.
All right. Let's go to, my good buddy Devin. Devin, what's up?
Yeah. Going on, Norb?
Hey, man. You got any takes on this game? We've kind of said it all, but I don't know if there's anything new you want to add to this while we're venting about our Seahawks and blowing a game they should have won.
I mean, this is the first time watching a game with COVID. So it was kind of, I don't know.
Watching with COVID? Wait, you're saying you have COVID?
Yes, sir.
Oh, no. When did that happen? Just recently?
I've been quarantined for like a week and a half now.
Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. You feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. I'm starting to taste stuff now.
Oh, so you lost the sense of taste and all that.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad.
That sucks. Well, man, I hope you
orange chicken's my favorite food, and as soon as I couldn't taste that, I knew it was real.
What was your favorite food?
I couldn't taste orange chicken, and as soon as I took a bite of the orange chicken and I couldn't taste it, it just hurt my heart.
Wow.
So, but
Oh man,
But,
I hope you recover and recover fully, because this is no joke.
Yep. Let's see. Well,
I feel like putting my mask on while you're coughing. I'm gonna get germs that shoot out my earplug. Go. Hey, just kidding. I mean, I hope you do. I do hope you recover, man. That's terrible.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. But the one thing I don't know. Let's see. Who was it? Is it DJ Reed who had the
Taunting?
Like the penalties? I'm pretty sure our penalties combined up to 100 yards.
They were 100 yards exactly. 10 for 100.
And it was kicking our butt. And I love DK, but the man's got to chill out. The man's got to chill out because they're giving him warnings, and I think it's 2 weeks in a row where he has the same on him.
Yep.
So he has to get it together. Throughout, I thought the offense did really good. The offense did the thing. And we have to give the defense credit too, because near the end of the game, they got the ball back for us during OT. We got the ball back.
They did.
And then offense flunked, and it would have sucked to lose off of a safety.
They should have. I would have actually been fine. I think that would have been more fitting for them to lose, because then instead it looks like the defense couldn't make a stop. But the offense have already failed them at that point of the game. It would have been the perfect ending as sort of a lesson. Like, here's really what this game was summarized in one play. Whose fault this game was. Not Russell per se, but the offense. Failure to get a drive going. But I'm not like I wanted it, but it felt like that would have been the appropriate ending. But I don't know, man. I don't know if I can say the offense did their thing. The offense put yards up, they put points up, but they didn't have drives, And 3 of their touchdowns were scored on plays that took like 30 seconds. Boom, touchdown, boom, touchdown, sack fumble, boom, touchdown, and then a 2-minute drive for a touchdown. They were all these plays that were done pretty much in record time. And the problem with that is great points, but the defense is out there too long.
And the funniest thing was...
Engraven Vids, thanks for the compliment on the shirt, man. It's good to see you in here. And congratulations, Engraven Vids, for beating the Kansas City Chiefs finally. Woo! I was rooting for you, man. That was a gutsy call for them to go for it on 4th down. Well deserved, man. So congrats for finally taking down the Big Red. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, you're good. On the Tyler Lockett play, there were 2 tacklers that whiffed completely on his touchdown run. So that we got lucky on that one. And then I don't know what happened, but we got lucky on the Freddie Swain one too, because they blew their coverage.
Right.
So in a way, we don't even know what the score would have been, right?
That's what I'm saying, man. In some ways, we got lucky with 2 of those breakaway touchdowns. The score doesn't really tell the full story. And they missed a field goal, and they stepped out of bounds, and they took a touchdown away that really was close to being a touchdown. So we're talking a big swing if you put all that together. So again, it's kind of masked by the yards and the points, but it doesn't really tell you how bad the offense was at being consistent throughout an entire quarter. One big play for 75 doesn't equate to a 75-yard drive that took 10 plays in 7 minutes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I just think we had help by the refs in a way. I don't know, that Julio Jones touchdown was close. The Julio one was close. I don't know.
It looked like it was out from my view inside the stadium, but then I looked at another view that was posted by the Titans, and it looked like his heel was not touching the white.
Yeah.
So it could have ended. It could have been over earlier. Maybe we would have lost before overtime. Yeah. So
yeah.
It's not good. It's not good, man. All that said, we still had to. We still could have won that game, and we didn't. So
I don't know if it was just me. The most memorable play, or like one of the it was Nick Ballore. Oh my goodness!
Oh, the hit on the kickoff.
Him throughout the game. That's why he's the special teams captain. Oh my gosh, he was everywhere.
I love that play, man. That was awesome. That dude went down like just a freaking pinball, man. It was just like just blew him up. Totally legal too. I loved it too. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Well, hey man, I'm gonna try to mix this up with some more people before I wrap this up. I got a Madden live stream at 6:30 in 18 minutes. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I pushed it back already from 6:15 to 6:30. So hope you guys can join me for that, because I'm gonna get my aggressions out on some stranger online and hopefully get a win. So maybe you, Devin, you can help call the shots, or at least call the.
I'll try my best.
Yeah, just don't give me any plays, because I know they'll be intercepted. All right, man, it's good to talk to you, man. Get better soon, though. Seriously.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, man. All right, let's see. Let's go to Chef Jack Attack, guy I haven't talked to in a while. Was super chatting it up. Chef Jack Attack from New York. What's up?
What's up, Norb?
Long time no see, man. What's going on over there in the East Coast?
Good, nothing much.
You didn't get hit by all that rain during that hurricane and stuff, man. I saw the pictures in New York, people's basements and apartments getting flooded out and stuff like that. I'm assuming you were clear from all that.
We got a little flooded, but that's about it, really. So nothing severe. Nothing severe.
All right, I'm glad you guys were okay. So
yes,
the Seahawks, though, that game was not okay.
Oh no, that kind of sucked.
To say the least.
Yeah, it was actually kind of pathetic to watch. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather us lose on a safety than us lose on a field goal. I hate losing to a. It is so annoying. So it would have been so much better and a much more funnier if he just lost on a safety. Like that'd be kind of hilarious.
I don't understand the call. I've looked at it a bunch of times. They say his forward progress was stopped at the half-yard line. There was no forward progress. Wilson was running for his life. The guy grabbed him, spun around in the end zone. He threw it out of bounds. Should have been a safety in the grasp or intentional grounding. I mean, there is no forward progress. And what doesn't matter because they won. But man, if they had actually know who it would matter to. If somebody had money on this game and had bet that they were going to win by 2, and instead they lost because they won by 3, they would be like jumping off a building right now and yelling at the refs all the way down. Anyway, sorry, man. Go ahead. I agree with you, though.
It sucks to lose in overtime. Like, that's kind of like the worst, to lose in overtime. Like, you're right there, but then you lose and stuff, and everyone's upset and mad at you. You know, Wilson had a pretty good game. I won in fantasy, by the way, so that's a big plus.
That's a good thing.
Wilson did good for me in fantasy. Oh, pretty good. He did decent. Running game was not good, right? The running game was not good.
No, not there. 70-something yards total for the game.
That's not good.
And 25 on one run by Alex Collins in the 2-minute drive at the end of the half. So
that was it, really. Like Chris Carson got better. Just a lot of things that we could have done better. You can't blame it all on Wilson. You can't blame it on one person.
I don't blame Wilson.
No. The team really just fell apart towards the end. To be honest, I don't know why. This was a classic Seahawks loss. Okay, again, I don't remember the last time.
I would not say that. Seattle doesn't normally blow leads like this. Like I said, when we lost this game, we hadn't lost a game like this. You can't even say it's a classic Seahawks loss because we have never lost like this in the Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll era. I had to go back to 2004. The last time they blew a 15-plus point lead at home was 2004. Before these guys were ever there, before the LOB, anybody was ever here. We haven't blown a lead like this. Ever. Usually, you know how it is. We're usually coming back. We're usually losing in half, and we come back to try to take the win at the end. That's our usual classic Seahawk way, and occasionally we don't succeed. But we don't blow 15-point leads. Not at home. That's not classic. That's bad.
Like a classic Seahawks loss is that like they look good, and then they just lose. Not saying that like we always blow leads, because we don't. It's been a while. But just we should have beaten these guys, and we lose at home. For some reason, that just seems very classic. We should have beaten this team, and we didn't. That's a classic Seahawks loss. Like the lead, that's rare. Like we're usually coming back, but for some reason, I think we should have beaten this team. They are a good team, but we're better, in my opinion. I just feel like that happens to us a lot.
Yeah. So I gotta just mention real quick. Sam Dog, the infamous 253, jumped in the chat, and he just mentioned that Steve Hubner, who's a big Seahawks fan up here, just passed away. I was just talking about him with some of the friends that we were celebrating my birthday with on Sunday, and he suffered a bad stroke, and he's been in the hospital since. And I'd asked about him, and they said the prognosis it wasn't looking good, and apparently he passed away today. So it was very sad for Steve's family. So Sam Dog, thanks for passing on the information. That's very sorry. Very sorry to hear that.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry to interrupt your flow with that, but sorry. I just had to get that out there.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Seahawks, they lost. That's the end of it. The end of the day, we lost. You win some, you lose some. I thought we were going to win the game, but we didn't. Russ, well, on to the next one. What can I say? Vikings we have next, right?
Yes, we do. We'll talk about that later, what Seattle's got to do. But, I think the thing people got to remember, I know I'm very negative today. I don't usually try to get this negative, but this was a bad one. And it was my birthday, and it kind of messed things up. But throughout the season, I've gotten games right where I predicted, like 12-4, and I think we went 12-4. And the thing is, it's usually never the same exact 12 games we win that I predicted. It's not the 4 games we lose that I thought we were going to lose. Usually it's some weird combination where we lose a game that I thought we were going to win, and we win a game that I thought we were going to lose. And hopefully this will be the case. If we lose to the Titans, who I thought we were going to lose to, who we thought we were going to win, and hopefully they beat one of these teams that I'm predicting that we'll lose to, and we can still even out our record at what I'm hoping that can still be a 13-4 finish. But it's going to take a lot of work, and we got to get this win next week, because if we go on a two-loss stretch, it's going to be very bad.
1-2 on the season is not good. That's not a good way to start the season. 1-2, a losing record. That's almost as bad as losing your first game. I hate losing the first game. For some reason, Seahawks basically always win the first game. For the last few years, they always win the first game. Second game, I feel like sometimes they usually win it. They lost. We have to win the third game. Vikings, we should win. We are a better team. But again, I feel like the Vikings always put up a decent fight against us. Last year was an excellent game. It was a great game. Came down to the wire. Wilson came in clutch that game. We got lucky, though.
We're lucky. We were very lucky to get that win. We had a few games like that. So we were a very lucky 12-4. It wasn't a dominating 12-4. It was a very lucky one. But hopefully we can turn it around.
Are we home or they are home?
We're playing in Minnesota next week.
Oh, okay. So it would have obviously been better if the 12s were there.
For sure. Luckily, it's a 1 o'clock. It's a 1 o'clock game for us. 4 o'clock game in Minnesota's, or I guess I'm not sure what the time frame is, whether they're 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. 1 o'clock for us. So at least we don't have that 10 o'clock issue to deal with here. But you can watch that game with me live here on my channel. I'll be streaming at 1 o'clock and bringing that game reaction, and we can watch it together and vent when things go bad and cheer when things go good. So come join me when that happens. All right. Hey, Chef, I'm going to move it along and talk to some other guys here before I break off to do this live stream for the Madden simulation. It's good to hear from you, bro. Thanks for the chats, super chats, by the way.
Thanks for having me on. Bye-bye.
You bet, man. Take care. All right, let's see. I'm trying to pull people I haven't talked to in a while here. Let's see. How about Andrew? Andrew Sund. It's been a while. Andrew.
Yo, what's going on, Norb?
What's going on, man? From Dallas, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long while. Yeah, what's your take on this game, man? Anything you want to add to it?
Disappointing, man. It's disappointing for all of us. I mean, I don't know. It just really didn't work for us. As you said, with we really didn't deserve to win this game. We got lucky on the Freddie Swain blown coverage, and Tyler Lockett breaks away for the touchdown. We never really got to see what really should have been the score. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say that we didn't deserve it. I'd say we capitalized on the opportunities. I'm not going to say that Russell Wilson has great deep ball, and we got receivers who can go deep. So those are great plays. But in between those, you got to have some drives. And that's what we were lacking. It was like nothing, bomb, nothing, bomb, nothing, bomb, sack, fumble, touchdown, and then it was just nothing. So that's what it felt like. So we need something to fill in the nothings. We can't just have, it looks like a heartbeat, flat line, boom. It's got to be something more of a da. That's what we need.
I guess what I meant to say is that I guess the Titans kind of outplayed us in the second half, especially with Derrick Henry Derrick Henry runs all over everybody, so you can't put it all on the defense. But Trey Flowers could have done a lot of things better. He kind of messed up a little bit on a lot of plays, specifically on Trey Flowers. A lot of people have been talking about him. I like DJ Reed. He's a solid corner. We haven't really got to see the new guys, Blesson Austin and Sidney Jones.
And Trey Brown too, for that matter.
We're improving,
but we have reinforcements.
Who was the guy who said it was like a classic Seahawks loss? I know what he meant there, because every year we have that one surprise loss. Like last year we lost to the Giants. No one thought we'd lose to the Giants, and 3% of people thought we'd beat the Titans. It's just that one game a year. We always lose to the Rams when they were bad back in 2015, 2016.
That's a good comparison. That's a good comparison to the Giants game last year. But although, you know what? I don't know if anybody thought. I think everybody thought we were going to steamroll the Giants last year. I don't know if anybody thought we were going to steamroll the Titans. I certainly didn't. I thought we were going to bowl over the Giants, and that definitely went wrong. But I know what you mean. We were favored. We were quite favored to win that game against the Titans, and it certainly turned the other way.
Yeah, always that one game, but I think we'll bounce back. We're playing against Minnesota. They got a really good offense. I like their offense a lot, from a fantasy perspective. But Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, two studs out of the backfield. You got Kirk Cousins, guy who's not that great of a quarterback, but he has really good receivers. You got Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, the top two guys, and then plus a lot of new coming out stars. Look at the Cardinals game last week. You got players I've never seen before rushing for 67-yard touchdowns. That's something we got to watch. We got to make sure we're ready, prepared to go to their stadium with all the crazy Vikings fans, because they got a good fan base too. We got to be ready for that powerhouse offense, just like the Titans have a powerhouse offense. And guess what? The Vikings have a better defense than the Titans too. So I think the Vikings are technically maybe, on paper, a better team than the Titans. And it's going to take a bit to beat them. I think it'll be a close game like always, but I think we can bounce back this year or this week.
I hope so. I think the Vikings will probably be more favored in this game than certainly Seattle was, or the Titans, being that they're the home team plus everything that you said. But maybe that'll go in our benefit. Maybe the fact that Seattle will be sort of the underdogs in here will maybe help. I don't know. For us psychologically, I like being the underdogs. I don't like being the favorites, because then the pressure is you got to live up to the expectations. But if you're not expected to win, I always like those odds better. But
first off, also, we're 1-1 right now, last in the division, but look who our opponents are playing. If you take out the Cardinals, they're playing the Jaguars. That's an easy dub for them. Unfortunately, they'll probably be still undefeated. But the San Francisco 49ers, after an abysmal performance against a pretty bad Eagles team, they can lose to the Packers next week if they aren't careful. Same with the Rams. They're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. All those guys. We could have, 3 2-1 teams if we win and they lose.
I hope so, man. I hope we end up all knotted up at 2-1. That would be the best thing for us, especially starting with these conference or these divisional games, or the NFC games. So yeah, we need this. That's why I'm saying this is a kind of a must-win game, and because it doesn't get any easier from here. Then the divisional games start showing up, and then really start putting the pressure on. So we got to win.
Yeah,
we got to win this one.
Your prediction video this year too. I was surprised that you had us going 8-0 to start the season. I was like, "Whoa, Norb!" That was a great video. Don't get me wrong, I loved it.
Thank you. I saw your comment. I think you said, "What? 8-0?" I think you said something like that. But yes. Yeah. Well, you got to aim for the fences, man. Shoot for the stars, you might hit a moon, or whatever they say about that thing. Yeah. But yeah, I know. And I might have been pushing a little bit. I might have been, pushing the whole, run the table on the division in the first half. But hey, man, we should have been 2-0. All I can say is we should have been 2-0 right now. So I would be perfect 100% if the Seahawks just did their part. That's all I'm saying.
And the Cardinals should also be 1-1. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they should be 1-1. That's a field goal. It's a cheap, easy field goal. Basically, the one that beat us is what they missed. Mm-hmm. So if they swapped places, we'd be 2-0, and the Cardinals would be 1-1. So there you go.
Kickers, Blair Walsh. This
I know.
Guy.
And why did the kickers who needed to make kicks miss, and the one that we needed to miss make it? Exactly. It's a little bit of luck, man. It's crazy.
If Jason Myers made that extra point, in the third quarter.
2-point
They would have
conversion.
probably had to go. It was that one kick and a whole.
It hit the upright, inside the upright. I mean, one more inch, it might have bounced in, and then it's a 2-point conversion, and maybe we win by 1 point. It's just how it is, man. That's how hey, sports is just so freaking heartbreaking.
It's almost 6:30 your time, so I think I'll let you go.
Yeah, and I gotta jump. I gotta do my other video because I'm supposed to be in 2 places at once, apparently. But all right, man. Thanks for the call. Good talking to you.
Yep.
All right.
Good talking to you.
All right. Go Hogs. All right. I guess I can try to get one more in here. Let's see. What do we got? Let's go to Roshi. Roshi.
Yo, what's up?
Roshi, first of all, I haven't really officially congratulated you, but congratulations on guessing all of the songs correct, artists, songs, and year in my prediction video for 2021.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, some of them I knew right off the bat as soon as I heard them, and then others I had to do a little bit of research, but other than that, yeah.
That's very impressive. Very. What was the hardest song to figure out in the whole bunch that I did?
I think the third song was the hardest to figure out.
For the Vikings game.
Yeah.
Courtesy of my daughter. Yeah, the song called She Ready from, I can't remember what year, a few years ago.
That was the fifth one. And the third one was something different. The fifth one was that. The third one, the first Rams game was She Ready, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Also a little bit of
You're correcting me on my own video. No, you're right. Third game. Yeah, not that one. It was the other hip hop song. See,
I think it's called Big Bank.
Big Bank. Yes.
That's what
correcting my own song. This just shows how well I don't know my own songs. Anyway, congratulations, man, that you knew so many of those. You're gonna be the last one in here because I think a lot of the other guys who are already here are gonna be jumping on for the Madden Sim, so they'll be sticking around anyway.
All right, got it.
Roshi, we've talked to death about this. I think we've said almost everything. Is there anything that you want to add to this Seahawks game that we haven't already talked about?
Well, yeah, first half we were looking really good. We were, especially in the second quarter, we were doing really good. I mean, at least Rustin throwing interceptions. Lockett's obviously currently the second leading receiver in the league. But yeah, we just didn't run the ball much. Our defense was good, but our offense just wasn't clicking at the right time when it needed to seal off this game.
Yeah,
get it over with, and yeah, we just really ended up blowing it.
Indeed. Well, what would you say is the number one thing we've got to improve? If you had to pick one over everything else, what's the most important thing we've got to fix for next week to win against the Vikings?
I think like staying consistent on like offense and doing whatever works. Like against the Colts, like whatever we've done against them, involving the tight ends, running the ball more, like staying consistent on those kinds of things throughout our offensive drives. I think that's probably the number one thing to improve on.
Yeah, and the question is, because I see Elena McCollum saying couldn't run it, O-line stunk. The question is, if the Seahawks had actually run it, twice as much, would they have just gotten the same very minimal yards per carry and not gotten anywhere anyway? Or was it just a matter of they got to keep sticking with it? Because there is a situation where you could stick with something and you continue to just fail at it, and it's like insanity, right? You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and it doesn't improve. You got to get blocking. You can't just keep handing it off and getting stuff for 1 or 2 yards, because that won't do the job either. So whatever it is, they got to change it up enough, whether it means changing the back, changing the blocking, changing the play call. But again, I'm with you that they need to utilize the tight ends. Just go back to what they were doing with that system. It's meant to be a lot of run, a lot of short pass, and that way Russell Wilson doesn't have to worry about getting sacked and throwing the ball deep. So
Airline's got to be better if you want to convince Russ to stay after this year.
Yeah, and there's that too, man. If this year goes ugly, we could be watching the beginning of the end of the Russell Wilson era. Who knows? That whole controversy could come right back, but we need this season to get hopping quick, because the last thing we want to do is see everything get ugly and all of a sudden controversy starts coming up, and man, we just do not need that for sure. So yeah. I hate to sound like it's desperate already, but it does feel like desperation at week 3. Sad to say, but when the other teams in your division are 2-0, it is feeling kind of desperate. because you can't fall much further behind.
There's still 15 games left. We can still win the division. It's all
for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's one loss. You could be 16-1. We could be a 16-1 team for all that matter. But that only happens if we win next week. So, got to do it. All right. Well, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Roshi, good to talk to you.
Right. Go Hawks.
All right, go Hawks. All right, everybody. So that's it. If you like this shirt, by the way, you can check it out on my Teespring merch site, which is in the description of this video. But otherwise, I am jumping off to do the Madden simulation. So don't go far. Just hop over to the other video and you can check that out so we can work out some aggression to somehow get that bitter taste of the loss against the Titans out of my mouth. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to drop a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Until next time, more to come as we will have more talk about maybe a little bit more about this game, but looking ahead, breaking down the Vikings game and what we need to do. So stick around for more videos coming up this week. Until next time, go Hawks.